This study looked at two personality variables, right-wing authoritarianism and social dominance orientation, and how they correlate with the war on terror and perceptions of threat. And right-wing authoritarianism is the need to submit to authority figures, and social dominance orientation is a need for one's in-group to dominate one's out-group. And we found that those high in RWA support the war in Iraq because they perceive it to be effective, and those high in social dominance orientation support the war because they have little care for human costs and suffering. We also looked at false positives and false negatives, and a false positive is when action is taken against a group who actually is not a threat, and false negatives are when action is not taken against a group who actually is a threat. Example of false positive would be weapons of mass destruction in the war in Iraq. An example of a false negative would be 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. And we found that those high in RWA actually correlate with false negatives in that they have higher estimates of false negatives. And we also found that policy of preemption correlates with false positives. The policy of preemption is the new policy under the Bush administration, in that the policy moved from a reactive policy to a preemptive policy. This caused more false positives to occur. And so we found a correlation between the policy of preemption and false positives. This study was important because it showed basically what a lot of Americans, why they support the war in Iraq, and basically why they perceive it to be effective. And it's important because people should be aware of what's going on in the war right now, and should become more educated.